investing in real estate for several years, and so kind of grew up around that.
Okay.
And so they were in North Carolina.
Okay.
And we've been here for about 6 years in Murfreesboro.
So you're from North Carolina?
Well, not originally, no, but we were there for several years before moving here. But yeah.
I'm a transplant too, so I'm from northern Indiana.
Okay.
That's why I don't have this
Yeah.
southern draw.
Yeah.
And I do get asked a lot, you're not from here, you know?
Yeah.
It used to be like, when
Yeah.
you said that, you're not from here, and it was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
And it was bless your heart. I called back home like, these are the nicest people. And then I realized, this is nice.
Yeah. Those saying bless your heart is actually not a compliment.
Yeah.
Northern Indiana, Town Point, or that?
Warsaw.
Warsaw, okay.
Yeah, it's worth the big capital of the world, so that's where all of the companies started, from the US, so that's where we're from. So.
Yeah, that's weird. Chicago Heights on the northern side of Illinois, touching,
Yeah,
next to the.
that's all the stomping ground up there.
Yeah.
And I go back up, I'm like, thank you, Jesus, for the impact of this house.
You get it right.
Some of those areas weren't so hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brett Hopkins, I am even a little bit behind her. I just started my paperwork a week ago Monday, so I'm not even active yet. Yeah, any day. So, like her, I'm just trying to soak it all in. Real estate's kind of been a hobby. I had some rental properties and some different things, and just trying to see what I can do. I have a sales background, and that's what I do, so it's kind of flexible. I can keep my main job and start kind of
You're
leaving this
You're
here.
gonna dabble in this and see how it works.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys, I actually did this for 16 years part-time with paper. And I got into it just due to the fact that I got messed over on the deal. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm never going to have this happen to me again. So when I got my license and decided to do it part-time, of course, it was in my hometown, so I knew everyone. So I made a great living just by my sphere of influence. It was crazy. And I also did open houses where, I got to know who the top producers were and the top listing agents, and I actually did their open houses. And I had huge success in doing that. So for part-time back in, we're talking, that time, I was making $40,000 to $45,000 a year just on the weekends.
Yeah.
So, and that's how, I finally came to fruition. Working in the corporate world wasn't satisfying me any longer. So I decided to say, what's your passion? Really, what is your passion? What do you want to do? And when I turned 50, I decided to do this full time. And it was a little scary because I had always relied on that nice big check, my corporate world and my security and everything, and then all of a sudden just kind of taking that coat off and hanging it up and saying this is not really making me happy any longer. I can't take the stress, and we can deal with stress, but it's nothing like having somebody constantly looking over your shoulder, So I thought, well, I'm going to get into it and see how this goes. And the first year I worked for a gentleman in this area named Joe Petno. And my first year with Joe, I sold 75 houses.
Wow.
So it was pretty amazing. He was a pretty dynamic guy. He works for Exit. And that was my introduction into working full time in Tennessee. And I wasn't from here, so I didn't know what I had no idea. So it just takes a lot of drive, and I think you guys will find that going out on that land is really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be persistent. You're going to have your down times. You're going to have your times of doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll go through that because the market it's up and down. We're in a good time right now. But when it gets down, just make sure that you know what you're doing to survive. And you will. You will. Just put everything into perspective, And this is a very rewarding job, And you might end up saying, hey, maybe I want to do this, And that's kind of how,
That's kind of the plan eventually at some point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of the corporate environment that isn't
It's there.
satisfying.
I was just like, oh my God, And I just got, meeting after meeting after meeting and number crunching. It was just like, enough is enough. So,
Can I interject one thing?
Yeah.
You mentioned we had been a part-time agent for a number of years. For those of you that are in a similar situation, that you're keeping another job while you transition, I would suggest never referring to yourself or labeling yourself as a part-time. Because what's the connotation?
If y'all take it serious, yeah.
The confidence level just immediately drops by those you're talking. And the bottom line is, can a quote part-time person be highly successful? Yes. I mean, that happens all the time. There's six-figure incomes for real estate only, and people working 50 hours in the corporate world. How can they do that? Informally, you can have, you don't necessarily have to be part of a formal team, but you can have somebody in your office who has an hour availability to accommodate the needs of your clientele when you're not available, and vice versa. You can accommodate their needs on weekend or evenings when you're available, and then you reverse the roles, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. You guys really need to, whoever brought you into this business, look for a mentor. Because I had, mine was amazing. Mine was somebody who'd been in business for 40 years. He was the largest developer in where I'm from. And he took me under his wing. And even though, and he realized, he asked me, because he was actually wanting me to buy the agency when he got ready to retire. And that was the biggest mistake I ever did in my life. I should have bought it, because it ended up being, the people that bought it were my best friends. They're like, if you're not gonna buy it, we're gonna buy it. And I just couldn't release from that, I had all these, I had children, I had a couple homes, I'm thinking, there ain't no way I can do this, this is just be overwhelming. So having a mentor and finding somebody that will work with you and show you the ropes, that's everything. That is so much. So, and that's one thing about here, I will tell you guys, is that everybody's really cool. So, and I'll give you guys my card. So if you ever have any questions or need any advice, feel free to give me a call, because I've been through it all. I just, it's crazy. And some of the downs, and if you don't understand how to do something, pick up the phone. Don't ever be embarrassed about any of this. This is just, I'm telling you guys, I've done this, like I said, a long time, and everything's different. I had a deal go bad last night, 10 o'clock, getting a call from an agent, and their people are just backing out. They're letting us keep their $2,500 earnest money, and, and she had their listing and the buy. I had just had the seller that, I had the listing of the other house. So you see it all, and then I have to deal with my gal, my seller, who was pulling beside herself like this for 20 days. We just need $2,500.
Yeah.
We had 50 people calling this house, and put that on. I was just looking at this thing going crazy for showing people. It's like, last night. So I'm like, we're good. But, some people would freak out. So, also, my daughter works here too. So she works on the team also. So.
Would you ever be open to us shadowing you?
Absolutely. So that's the other thing for open houses. Right now we don't have a lot because we don't have a lot of inventory.
Sure.
We do have a new listing for nearly 900,000 that we'll be doing a nice open house. And,
Okay.
and I'll kind of go in through all of that. Tell me a little bit about you.
I'm Denise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm originally from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to this area 10 months ago.
Mhm.
I was a mom for stay-at-home for 4 years before I was in retail, like sales. Last year, I decided to get a job in an office in a year, and it drove me insane. I quit in 3 months. I can't be locked up in an office. So I decided to do this. Today is marking 1 month that I've been licensed, and I'm ready to write my first offer.
Okay, good.
And I'm giving you anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so amazed with the environment here. I wasn't expecting this help and caring in the real world.
Yeah.
And everybody's just
So it's normally not like this.
Right. Right. Everybody helped me, sitting with me, and even Lucky's my mentor, but whoever's available, they help me, and I'm just amazed. So I'm loving it.
All right, good.
I already have another client coming from out of state Saturday.
Okay.
I'm doing lead generation.
Yeah, make sure you guys do your lead generation.
That's what I'm getting, because I knew nobody, so, yeah, and I already got a referral from the Sabres team in Spanish. My language is, I'm trying to focus on the international community around.
Yeah, and you'll find success here with that.
There is not painting, it's just that.
I will be calling you, because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with y'all. So,
I do speak Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese.
Oh, that's
Or
great.
you can make
So-
us happy. So
So I'm full-time
That'd be
with
great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's something, yeah, I've lived in Japan before, and, I am ready. I'm, lucky brought me in, yeah, that's cool. And
Well, just, you know,
I'm
just
here.
focused.
Yeah, that's great.
Just Betty,
I'm diving in.
so tell me a little bit about
Hi,
you.
I'm Betty White, I'm
Go
retired.
figure.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I do this all the time. Retired out of Parker Hannafin Aerospace in Ohio, after 30 years being a lead person
Oh,
there.
so you're Midwesterner, awesome.
And I retired in West Virginia, got into the West Virginia flood, destroyed my home,
Oh,
and I relocated here where my daughter is, and I've always been in this state, and been licensed since March, but I've been enjoying here until April.
Okay. All right, well, I'll kind of get into some of this, you guys, and, what I'm gonna do is just go through, it's very informal, it's about doing open houses and the importance of doing an open house. You guys will find that there's a lot of agents, that say they don't have time to do an open house or that's not worth it. So last year I sold 6 homes from open houses. So, I mean, the homes at those open houses. Yeah, so not only including, that's your referrals. So that's free referrals. I mean, not referrals, free leads, excuse me. They're free leads. So keep in mind that if you're going to do an open house on a $300,000 home, what type of leads are you going to get? $300,000 leads. These are $300,000 buyers. So, make yourself available. If anybody needs any open houses done, that's how you get your foot really in the door. You also get a lot of FaceTime. And FaceTime is really important to be able to craft talking about real estate. It's very important that when you meet a client, if you don't have people coming in, you're not doing appointments, then do the open houses so you can take time to get to know them, and ask people questions. And you guys are, it's driving me crazy. So that's one thing that I would really, stress is making sure that you guys do the open houses. If anybody wants anything done, be there to do it. A lot of times, the listing agents, and there are people that just only do listings. They're too busy or they just don't want to do it. And a lot of people think it's a waste of time, but I've made really good money at doing the open houses. I've made a point to anything that anybody wants me to do as far as an open house, I'll do it. And there's certain ways to do open houses. So that's kind of what I'm going to cover, and we'll go over how to have a successful open house. So, and I'll just kind of get into it right now and see what you guys think and ask any questions. So, the first thing that I do when somebody wants me to do an open house, or if it's your own listing, I'll do that. But where you guys are at right now, you don't have any listings, so you're going to be, asking to do it. Yeah, but that's
From the
good.
same buyer that I go to the generation.
Oh, that's
Buying
cool.
and selling.
Yeah,
I'm amazed, but.
but with you guys, doing that aspect, asking somebody to do an open house, first thing is preview what you're doing your open house on. Don't show up that day and try to figure it out, because it ain't gonna happen. So you need to go like a day or two before, and you can set up that appointment with showing time to say, I need to preview this house. Go in and also take a look. I've been doing this a long time, so I see red flags all over, and I'm called a listing agent. Like, is this our first open house? Or they're like, no, this is our third open house. Well, let me tell you what your issue is. Because, if it needs to be decluttered, if it needs, things need to be cleaned, they need to bring in somebody to clean the house, whatever it is, know that. You know what you're getting yourself into, because it's important, and if you actually want to do that open house, is this really an open house I want to do, I know starting out you'll do anything, but if it's not moving, there's an issue. It's either price or it's the condition of the house. And don't ever be afraid, you can all live in your house. Lord, you're not oblivious to any of this, so, you watch HGTV.
Yeah.
Property brothers, that how a house is supposed to look. And even though you might be newer, don't ever let anyone know that you're new. Don't ever say that. You have that confidence. Just be confident.
Yeah, I did, and I was bored.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I proposed him on sign the buyer's agreement, and he said, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to explain.
That's what, and this is what I told my, my daughter when she first got into it. I'm like, nobody needs to know. Yeah, you're younger and you're gonna have a hard time, but just be confident. And that's what it takes to tell an agent, hey, this is kind of what's going on here. That's pretty much what I'll go in and I'll take a look at the house and get to know it. I go up, I'll look in the closets, I'll go outside, whatever. So I know what I'm getting myself into. I also will print out, the MLS sheet. And the MLS sheet is like super important to you. You need to get all your facts and figures correct. So you need to be able to rattle those out at any given time when anybody's walking through the house. So when somebody's walking through the house, and they want to ask you a question, what's the square footage, whatever, you'll be able to tell them. So kind of the thing that I do that's most successful is when I do hold the open house, I have an MLS sheet. I do a flyer for that house. So something a little nice that has only me on it, because that's who's there. And I don't want those leads to be calling that listing agent. I'm representing the house, I'm representing the seller for there, but I'm also representing myself. Okay, so make sure you do something that have to take a lot of time. You can only do maybe 5 flyers, depending on what your price point is. Now, if you're going to do anything under 200,000, have about 20 flyers, because it's going to be a landslide. If you guys get between 200,000 and 300,000, I will tell you, probably do 10, 12 flyers easily, because you're going to get traffic. So in the 500,000 and up, you'll probably maybe get 5 or 6 people to come through. So so we generally find. Okay, so set a budget. Yeah, kind of set a budget for yourself too. So figure out the lead generation. Normally those leads are going to cost. They cost actually the company like $30 each. All right, so you guys got to keep that in mind. So if you set a budget for $30 to spend on that open house, you get 2 leads. It's well worth it. So you'll have to look at all this as a business, and the open houses is a business. Okay, so it's definitely something that's important to your book of business. And on doing the open house and kind of let me see, going back and how I prep for everything is I do the preview, I look at the MLS sheet. I also look at the price, do comps in the area. So also know what's in the area. And this is the biggest thing that I do is I actually print out MLS sheets for houses that are for sale, because they may not like this house, but however, would you be interested in coming back around 4:15? I've got one that I've set up to preview. Would you like to see it with me? They're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And this is what I have. I also, you guys everybody have an iPad? Okay. So your iPads, that's very important. So it's kind of works as a twofold thing. So one, I take a little boom box, and I play Pandora, because I like background music in a house. It makes people feel good. It's very subtle, and they feel more at ease on talking. I found that I've done this ever since the iPad came out. I've had one of those.
What do you play?
I do actually I do age piano or new age music.
Okay.
And I just do it, and they try to figure out where it's coming from. And I hide that away. And you're like, is that house around sound? No, it's my iPad, but come on, it's nice. So yeah, you take your iPad. The other thing is that make sure you have your MLS. At any time, just if you have any questions like, what are like homes? What are they going for? You should kind of know that. However, if you don't, that's okay. Pull up your MLS. You've got it right there. And what I usually say is, hey, go ahead and take a look around. I'll get that information for you. So I'll work on it right there. And the fact that you can take pictures. And they'll actually grab your iPad and just give it to them. And they'll just look at everything on their listing. or it's about you making money.
So you don't ever get pushback from the seller when you're steering people for a.
I wouldn't be steering anybody. You know, if they're asking about another house, do you know about this other house? I'm certainly gonna answer the question.
Right.
You know, if they're not interested in that house, that's fine, it's totally up to them. But they would like to see the other house, that's, you know, we can set that up, not on the time that I'm here, but when I'm done.
Right.
That can be a problem. So I'm not, you know, I haven't said anything, make sure you don't say anything derogatory about the house, because it's not your listing, you know, so you're trying to do the best you can for that seller. If somebody says, well, this is overpriced, that's where you come in and go, I'm not a listing agent, I'm just representing this open house. So, you know, if you feel it's overpriced, maybe that's a conversation we might want to have, you know, after the open house. You know, it's all about communication, and it's all about talking to somebody, and it's also having a confidence in, you know, being able to say it. Don't be hesitant, don't be intimidated by people. You know, they're there looking. If they, and this is the big thing, guys. If they weren't at that open house, then they wouldn't be interested. Period. They've taken time to kind of look at this house. So when they say we're not interested in buying, well, yeah, you are, because you're walking through this house. So, you know, and so you just like, and sometimes they're like, well, that's a little odd, because you guys actually took time out of your day to come and take a look at this house. And they'll look at me like, okay, you know.
We are, yeah. Yeah.
If you have a religion, no problem, you know. So it's not a problem. And a lot of them go, oh, we have an agent. Oh, great. And how's that working out for you? Because you're here for something else.
By yourself.
You should have already seen this house. I'm just saying. You know? But he's kind of put that way. It's like, how's that working out? Because you're here at the open house, and houses have been on the market for like 4 days. You haven't seen this?
Where is it?
I mean, that's just about just bringing things that they already know, that just saying that you're not oblivious to what's going on either, you know. When you guys are doing an open house, the signage is important, okay? So I brought a couple different signs, all right? So the one that I normally always use is the one I had made up, and it's bright yellow, and it's just very basic. It's bright yellow. You know, I actually came from Whitehurst, so everything we did at Whitehurst, I actually worked in greenhouse for 4.5 years. I mean, so I had the Brentwood, you know, all those. And what I found is everybody, no matter if it was Sotheby's or who it was, Frederick and Clark, all their signs looked alike. So I decided to do something different so it stood out. I do put my open house signs, whenever I'm doing it for anyone, I put them out on Wednesday, just this, in the yard. Because the drive-by traffic is just as important throughout the next 4 days than our internet presence and our social media, all of that. That's important too, but this is just as important because people will be going by and, oh, okay, I want to make a point, I tell so-and-so, or somebody else just driving around. This area gets an amazing amount of people that come to Nashville for 3 or 4 days to look for houses, just to drive around and get to know the area. And it's overwhelming, because if you're not from here, you're just thinking Nashville. But they don't really get that there's, as most people don't, there's all these suburbs around. And then all our suburbs are priced differently. I mean, we go from one extreme to the next. And if you don't know, you can buy and barely scrape by over in Williamson County, or you can buy a really nice house over here, you don't have to spend near as much. So a lot of times we're driving around, we get a lot of calls. We actually generate about 400 leads a week on the Tabor team, so we do a lot of different advertising and things of that sort. And when I put the open house sign, we do get a lot of calls from the open house. So there's another sign.
You put your cell phone?
No, because we've already got our sign there for sale. And it's our team, and you know, so it comes into our team phone, and we're on round robin, so we can stop team calls. So this one here, so both these only cost me $5. So they're cheap. So this one here, I actually, depending on if it's a smaller neighborhood, if it's a condominium, townhome, or whatever, I just put something like this, because this is much easier to see in a house, a big yard, than this, you know. But if I'm doing it like in Lemons Village, things of that sort, and I do something more personalized and just do, and I've got open house on Sundays and I also do open houses on Saturdays, depending on what the market is and what type of home it is.
Do you have like a minimum value that you do, or you just do it?
A what?
Like a minimum, like if it's on the 200s, you want 100?
No.
You just do it.
Everybody gets the same. That's the whole thing, is everybody gets treated equally, with the open houses. So, except, well, I was gonna say that our luxury homes, we are actually doing things a little differently.
Right.
We bring in vendors, so
Right.
like I have a hot dog vendor that'll come in, and we do cheese and wine. I mean, when we get up in those, yeah.
You do an open house regardless of the price.
Yeah, that's part of, when we're listing a house, when I'm listing a house or any of us listing a house, one of the things that we will absolutely do is have an open house, especially if it's over $400,000. If it's under 200, we
That's
actually in Nashville, if it's under 300, you don't get to either, because it goes in 4 days, and you don't even make it.
You don't have your time.
Yeah, so it's the higher end houses that bring in the.
Isn't it almost better to try and push that up, just so you can generate more leads when people come through, if you can make it that long?
Yeah, oh, yeah. So if I've got it, if I don't have an offer, and let's say an offer came in on Friday or Saturday, well, I'm still having that open house on Sunday. I've done that a lot, and that's generated, either backup offers or competitive offers or finding something.
Do you have to tell them they've already offered when you do that? Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, the best thing to do is just disclose. And you guys, I learned this a long time ago. Is just tell it like it is. I mean, because don't try to hide anything. Be honest. Be forthcoming with anybody. You guys will find that means a lot. Now I know that when we're looking at buying things and somebody's that way with us, it's totally different. We don't want to be sold. We want to be educated. At least I do. I've been in sales all my life, and I don't want to sell something. However, there's a technique where you can educate and sell at the same time. You can actually do a sense of urgency, or they can't live without you, and that's important. So you bring value to their life and what they want and obtain. So that's what you have to learn how to do, and it takes a while. But once you got it mastered, I mean, when you can set and you have. Like I said, we get a ton of phone calls all the time. Our job is to set appointments. And for me, I'm a little more particular when I set an appointment. I have a certain clientele that I like to work with. And so when they, like, oh, there's nothing on the market, or, this can't be right. So I bring them into the office and I put that MLS up on the screen, tell me exactly what you're looking for. Because we're going to sit together. Then all of a sudden, it's either got to change a price point, or we got to lower our expectations more. Right. So no different than when we're going into an open house. When you go into an open house, it's at 350. I have people go, you think I'll take 325? And I'll look at them and go, well, that's something that's certainly you can make an offer and see. However, the house is priced pretty competitive. So it depending on how much you want this house. That's what anything that we do. How badly do you want it? How badly do they want to sell it when they list it? I mean, you want to sell it, or you want to just, and they go, well, we really don't have to sell it, so then why am I wasting my time? Because I'm bringing all this marketing, and, I mean, is it just a waste of my time? Because I just did one out of $500,000, and that was one of the questions. I'm like, really? So after I left, I decided, he called me and said, no, I'm sorry. Not interested in listing the house. I'm not going to waste the time. I mean, he said it 3 times. I'm like, dude, okay, you answered the question. You're not serious. And I'm not just hearing, because my open house, what I would have done with that, particular open house is in the $500,000 range. So I would maybe go a little bit nicer, have a little bit of food there, did a little more heavier on advertising. We actually do a 3D walkthrough with our listings, so you can give them goggles and walk through it, so we do it's kind of the stuff that we do. So I would have done it up, so market it, not listed it, how to market the house. So, and when we're doing the open houses, your signage is going to sound very balloons. put balloons on it. The day of open house. I don't know what it is, and I already looked at it for years. I'm like, that's the most foolish thing I've ever heard. But I'm gonna tell you, you put some bright balloons on the sign or like on the railing going down from the front porch or, you know, if it's a windy day, don't put them down the sign because they'll just hit the yard and blow up. So put them close to the house. It draws them in like flies. It's like, you know, they're like, oh my God, look at the balloon. And it's raining. So that's interesting. So pointers also. So on Saturday, before your open house, do the pointers, okay? And do as many pointers as you possibly can. The reason being is that it's got your information on there. And people are going to they'll drive by on exit. Like, what the hell's going on here? There's something going on. Yeah, there's no house on the Saturday down here. Check it out. And that's generally, try to put as many out as possible. You know, if there's only one way in and one way out, you're limited. Okay, but if there's several ways, make sure you put one in every corner. Because, you know, and get something that's you can see. All right? So, you know, the black ones that we have are a little harder to see, but if you go with the white ones, if you go with the yellow one, if you want a custom one, your own, do that. So you guys will find that really helps a lot, you know, with that. During the open house. So during the open house, I'm very casual about the whole thing. So when somebody comes in, my job is to be to feature benefit that house, but not to follow around the house, and to be cordial, and also to casually ask questions. And they don't even realize that they're asking all these questions, you know. So when they come in, I hand them the flyer. And I tell them about the house. I tell them it's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It's 2,650 square foot. We've got a great office. Kitchen's been remodeled. Backyard is, it's kill for it. It's amazing. And the bonus room, you got to check out the theater system. And they're like, and then it's like Oakland schools. You know, okay. So you just take a look around. Got any questions? I'm going to be over here. So just looking around. So I'll bring, you know, so why are you guys selling? You guys from the area? Just start with little questions. I don't follow around. No, you go all over the balcony. They'll come out and they'll actually sit down and they'll actually talk to me.
Oh.
You know, and before they leave, you know, and they're walking in the kitchen like, hey guys, I got the sign-in sheet. The listing agent and the seller has asked me to get everyone that comes in, can you please fill out this information? And 99.9% of the time, they fill it out. And so I just ask for the name, their phone number, email address. So what I do with that information, once it's a lead, so I, you know, and I let them know, would you guys mind if I put you in my home search website? So you guys can take a look at, you know, other homes. I said it's super comprehensive. I'll tell you all the information. You'll get updates. If it's too many updates or whatever, you know, you can modify that. The other thing is that I'm on the other end. So it's not that I'm stalking you. I'm just giving you what you're looking at. And if there's something you do want to look at, I'd be more than happy to show it to you. Are you guys okay with that? Yeah, that would be great. So what I'll do that evening is I actually take those names, because it's not a huge amount, and just send them out an email thanking them for stopping by, you know, and letting them know they're going to receive a welcome email from my website. And if they've got any questions, I'm here.
So if they're represented and then you still give them the information if they have an agent?
You know what? Yeah. If they say they have an agent, that's okay. Just 90% of the time, they do not have an agent. They just have an agent.
They just say,
Selling it because
oh,
she's
have
an
a-
agent. You know, I'm not working. No, you don't know. You know. And they're like, well, it's my cousin. It's going to help me. Oh my God, you're going to work with family. Not good. Good luck with that. Down that road. But you know, those are little things that you just kind of share with them. Let's see. Also, the one thing, knowing about the house and knowing about yourself, do you guys have a 30-second commercial about yourself? You probably do, but you know that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have never heard about the 30-second commercial.
elevator speech.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, a little bit about you, and what you're about your experience, you know, and share that with them, so to highlight who you are. You know, I'm actually not from Tennessee, I'm a transplant from Indiana, sold real estate for 26 years, part-time and full-time. I deal with, you know, all different types of buyers, from our first-time home buyer to a multi-million-dollar buyer, you know, because you're going to be talking to buyers. You know, I work for Exit Realty. We actually, our real estate agency is the #1 agency in the U.S. So we're based here out of Murfreesboro, but I do handle all the Middle Tennessee area. So if there's anything you'd like to see from here to Gallatin, let's get in the car and let's go look. You know, so it's just, yeah, but whatever you get so far. Yeah, I'm just saying that's something.
Not your name.
Yeah, it just, again, it's all, and you guys aren't.
Just a one
I mean,
I'm pretty
you know, I just, you was 18 years old, and you guys are 18 years old. You guys have life experience.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything. You know, this is just something, this is how I, you know, I look at it. It's a page you turn, you know, and you're heading off into a different direction. So it's, you bring a lot to the table, and you bring a lot of life experience to the table that you can share with everybody. So, and that's, you know, the biggest thing is to know your market, or confident with the market. Also, you guys preview houses. And I'm sure that Christopher is going to talk about, Christopher and I work together, but you know, preview houses. So if there's stuff that you're like, I'm not getting any showings, and I'm not showing shit. Get out there and preview. And just set up appointments for you to go see. Especially if there's a house like you're dying to see. I mean, I've done it.
Yeah.
I got a doctor, I'm gonna shut the house. But I'm gonna
Yes.
show up.
Yeah.
And that way, because you get clients all the time. You know, you guys on the lead, do the lead generation. Okay, I can't stress that enough, because again, we get so many people coming into this market, and the only way that most of them can look out is obviously through the internet.
I just started last Friday.
Yeah, and learn how to, if you get that lead, call them. Because what sets everybody apart is that phone call. You know, and my follow-up, you know, my open house, when I follow up, I send them an email, and then a day later I'll call, and just to see how they're doing, if there's anything that I can do for them. They're probably thinking, oh my God, this may not go away. But I just want them to know that, you know, I'm different than everybody else. So, and that's, as long as you can set yourself apart from the pack, that's what's going to, you know, and again, you guys aren't going to ever find anybody, this is not a fancy area. Rutherford County is Rutherford. Williamson County, quite honestly, beautiful homes, but they're just like us.
Yeah.
They're actually very down to earth. Where we only get into a little bit of differences, honestly, Belmead and Green Hills. And some of the condos downtown, you know, because a lot of them are buying from their children. Not that much. You're in Lord have mercy, you know, but that's it. And you'll find that that's the attraction to our area, to where we live, is the late, how everyone's laid back. You know, you don't come across, you know, you're not intimidating. And that's probably the biggest compliment that I've ever gotten in an open house or anything that I've done, is that, you know, you're not intimidating. You know, it was a great experience, you know, and just work it that way. So, what questions you guys have for me?
I think I'm gonna have to do a translation here in a minute. I'm in a hospital that doesn't speak English. Got her hand in the knife. I'm sorry. I'm what?
How does like commission work and that type of thing when, so let's say we go to an open house for another agent who's listed that house? How does that work in terms of, like, are we just getting
If they
leads?
sell their house, your job, what you want to do is obtain the buyer.
Ah, got it.
So if the buyer already has anything, you're just kind of out of luck.
Out of luck.
You gotta.
However, because like you said, I've
Then you
heard
make
people
it
they're like, we love this house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you know, it's been on the market for 3 days. This is our first open house for getting, especially when there's people walking around the house, a lot of people, then they're like, oh my God. And you just let them know, we're, you know, after today's open house, you know, within the next day or so, we're probably going to get an offer on the house. Is this something, you know, you would be interested in? Because I'm not that listing agent, so I can represent the buyer. And it's not my listing, So that's what, on my listings, I have somebody else doing
So even though at the open house, that's something that's kind of confusing, just being new, I guess. Even though you're representing the seller at the open house, you can flip around and represent the buyer.
Right, you can be the buyer,
Because you're not
because you're not legally bound to that, you're just,
That seller.
yeah, just that seller. I mean, you wanna do your best for that agent to represent his,
Right.
you don't wanna dog the house or anything, however, if somebody wants to write it up, you're not the listing agent, so you can write that up.
do that. So how do you, like, let's say they're like, no, I don't have an agent. Because technically they don't have to hire you either, right? Or,
Well, if they actually don't, they don't have to hire you, at all, but they're not hiring because they're not paying.
right, okay.
But what they will get is they'll get, a professional that's been, that has a license in order to do this, and look at their best interests.
Okay.
And that's what you're there for, is for anybody, is to make sure that they're covering their best interest. In with today's market, you guys, multiple offers, it gets super hairy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And, you'll get people making an offer on a home only just to buy that house. So you've got to work through it. And the other thing that, for me, I've got to work through, no offense, but I've got to work through the experienced agents that are not understanding this is not how it works. And they get very frustrated. The one thing is that just keep in mind, that I keep in mind, is just how we work through it too. Because I don't want anyone to come around and say, have you ever dealt with him? He's an ass. And I just don't ever want that. I just want to have the best rapport with my coworkers, as we're saying, my peers. So, being helpful, being friendly, if you don't know the answer, be assured that you will have the answer. And the one person you need to go to is always, if you've got a question, and you can go to your broker. At the end of the day, we've got two brokers here. We have Jeremy. Oh, actually, great. We have Lucky, we have Jeremy, and we have Bob. So, and on top of that, you can pretty much stop anybody in this, walking down the hall, or give us a call, and we'll walk you through it.
You truly can. I mean,
So,
everything around. Wow.
Miss Betty?
Yeah, if they do want to make an offer,
Mhm.
Do you do it right there, and do you do it on .loop, or do you have paper form? How do you?
If they're like, we want to write an offer, I'm like, I'd rather not write it at the house, okay? What I'd rather do is, can you guys, you want to meet after the open house, you can go down to Starbucks and write it up? I would, if it's closer to the office, I would rather have you guys come to the office, we'll sit down. Let's go through all of this. This is a lot of information that I need to share with you, and I need your full attention. And that's the best thing, because that makes me feel comfortable. That makes me feel comfortable, because I'm telling you, when you do it in a restaurant, they're everywhere. They don't listen to half of what you say, so I need their full attention to be able to write that offer,
So do you have a printed copy for them to read, or do you do it on .loop?
I actually do, well, if I've got my iPad, well, if I come back to the office, I actually we'll talk about what we want to do. I'm going to talk about, their different options, what they can. They're going to tell you what price they want to pay. If they say, if it's $355, they want to offer $350, then, that's great, but first and foremost, you guys are pre-approved. And I ain't gonna shit if they don't have a Bible. I mean, if they're like, yeah, we got it, actually, and they will. If they're serious, they'll bring it up in the home, we have right here. Great. Send it over to I'll print it out and do it.
Is that something you would ask before you meet with them?
Actually, I would. At the open house, I'd be going, so you guys are working with the lender, and if they are, if they're serious, they're like, yes, we're working with blah, 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 and they'll know the lender's name. If they're like, no, we haven't done that yet, then I would say, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. If you're interested in this house, I'll make a phone call to my lender. She's gonna call you, or he's gonna call you within the next 15 minutes, and go ahead and take your information. We'll go ahead and, if you guys want this house, then we'll have to get you pre-approved, because I have to have a pre-approval letter when I give them this offer. So, and with the lenders we work with, they will literally call, and I don't ever give out my lender's information.
Oh, you don't?
Oh, okay.
No, I don't ever say call. Never ever. You have full control. You want the control over everything.
Rarely.
Yeah. So don't ever give out a card, lender's card. I never do. I don't, and with the lenders, make sure you guys do have a great relationship with them, because they're important. All right.
That's the trick.
Mhm.
I did give that information this weekend.
Yeah, now, here's what they'll do is, I'm ready for a foot-bite. I go, yeah, no, I ain't gonna have it like that. You're stuck with me, I'm gonna take you today.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on you right now, so you're not gonna lose me. All righty, any other questions, you guys?
Good morning, Bob.
Did you guys find any of this helpful?
Oh, yeah, this is very helpful.
I'm not a very good teacher.
Oh, the teacher is great. I would really love to shadow you.
Well, just give me a call.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Honestly, guys, if you have any questions, you need help on anything,
Thank you. Could I take a quick photo of your signs?
Yep. Get out of the picture here.
You can pose with them.
No. It's not gonna happen. This is Dan.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah. Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, wonderful yourself.
I can't do it. Maybe you know what?
Maybe you can edit that out.
Sorry.
Sorry, makes me feel real.
Sorry about that, you guys.
Oh.